What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks bringing you some more Go Battle League battles here in the Halloween Cup, which by the way is probably one of my favorite metas in the Great League. I've really been enjoying the Halloween Cup, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing the team that I went on a nice little 9-1 run with. It's actually Crustal in the lead. And I originally got the idea for running a Crustal after seeing Wallower's like Halloween Cup meta breakdown. And one of the things that he mentioned was that very few Pokemon in this Halloween Cup meta actually resist rock type attacks. And I thought about that and I'm like, you know what, that is true. And so I'm going to just give Crustal a try here. Word of warning though, I have been seeing a lot more Toxicroaks pop up in the meta lately. And Crustal is definitely walled by Toxicroak, but I'm running Crustal in the lead with Smackdown, so I have that rock fast move damage, and then Drapion and Jellicent in the back. This is more so of a balanced team, not necessarily any sort of ABB style, where all three of these Pokemon are kind of fulfilling their own roles here. And I feel like I make some really good plays in this video, so let's jump into the gameplay and I'll kind of talk through my decisions while it's going on here. So Crustal into Scizor. This is decent for me. However, the bullet punches are hitting for super effective damage. So I do not want to stay in here the whole time. I do not know that bullet punches are resisted on my Jellicent, but honestly, Scizor is kind of a difficult lead for this team to hang with as well. They swap in a Quillfish. I did end up shielding the big move from their Scizor, so I know that it's most likely fairly energy dry. I know that Quillfish gets to an Aqua Tail every 4 Poison Stings, but it's going to take 2 Aqua Tails to knock out my Drapion, and the Poison Sting damage really isn't doing that much. They're going to throw again, and I had a feeling like I might barely be able to survive this and get to another move, but I'm actually just going to swap in my Jellicent immediately. I recognize that our switch clocks were out of sync, and Jellicent totally walls all of the energy that Quillfish would throw. They ended up throwing a move there to try to stall out the switch clock. I am going to go for a Bubble Beam bait here, and they end up shielding their Scizor. This allows me to get to a Shadow Ball, and they have not even thrown a Night Slash, so down goes the Scizor. And at this point, regardless of what is in back, we're looking pretty good. 3 Pokemon still alive, and it's a Nidoqueen. This Nidoqueen should be able to survive the Shadow Ball, despite it being a Shadow Nidoqueen. Able to tank that, and then I swap into my Crustal immediately, and they ended up throwing the move right after I swapped, so able to catch the Poison Fang, and so many positive catches for me in this game. They tried to catch a move, but they transferred the Smackdown damage, and so we were able to take that game there. Good game. Wigglytuff lead, kind of awkward here. So I have to stay in with Crustal and soften it up a little bit. Now ideally I want to be able to throw 2 moves here, so I'm going to throw an X-Scissor Bait on this first one. I'd really like to get to a Rock Slide. They end up no shielding. Oh my gosh, nice move by them, and they sneak a Charm through, so they're definitely going to win this lead matchup, unfortunately. But I have at least guaranteed that my Jellicent does not have to see this Wigglytuff. Because of that charm that they snuck through, they're able to win the lead and throw a move here. I'm going to no shield and hope that my Jellicent is going to have play against whatever they have in the back. They bring out a Dragalge, so I'm going to throw a Crunch, and they no shield that. We'll have to see what they end up having in the back. It's their own Jellicent, and they are running Bubbles, so this is where having Hex as the fast move on my Jellicent really benefits me here, because I can safely outpace them energy-wise, and this is a prime example where even in the 2-shield scenario, there is no point in me baiting, because that's just providing a win condition for them. Because I recognized that not only I was ahead on energy, I had the fast move that optimized my energy gain even more, no need to bait, and now at this point in time, I can go straight Bubble Beam because the Hex damage is going to add up. And I even go for a fancy, totally unnecessary play here. I know there's a very low chance that they're going to try to bait me, so I just go straight into my Drapion, and I end up catching that Outrage, which was awesome, and we're able to take that game there. Good game. Crustle into Mawile. I ran into so many Mawiles when I was running this team. This Mawile is running Fire Fang, but I have seen some Mawiles running Ice Fang. X Scissor, I believe, is double resisted here, and so they no shield it. Some people that run Mawile, especially if it's Shadow Mawile, it's so glassy that they tend to shield everything, but this one did not. I correctly shield up to play rough, thank goodness, but I know that Mawile is going to be kind of an issue in the late game. None of my opponents really have a solid hard counter to a Drapion safe swap. Even this Nidoqueen here, if I can correctly shield up the Earth Power, which I do, this puts me in a great scenario because I can easily outpace this Nidoqueen here. And they totally let that go. So I'm able to farm it down. And this allows me to win switch advantage. Even though I'm down 2 shields, totally fine by me. Both Crunch and Sludge Bomb are single resisted because of that Steel and Fairy typing. I get a shield right there, and I get the Defense Fell. Drapion is so good. Crunch is a very solid charge move now. And they're just going to ramp up with power-up punches, so I'm assuming that they're going to double shield this. And they do end up double shielding. I'm going to go right back into the Crustle. Even though these Smackdowns are resisted, this is still really adding up, and they're staying in here. They don't want to clear their debuff. Down goes the Mawile. In the back is a Golbat. So we're looking pretty okay here. They are forced to throw a move. And I know that my Jellicent can tank a non-stab Shadow Ball from this Golbat, no problem. But I bring in my Drapion, because this once again pressures them to have to throw. If I got to that Crunch, it potentially would have been able to take them out or put them so low that they wouldn't have been able to do anything against my final Pokemon. But here I knew that I would be able to take a Shadow Ball regardless, but I'm able to get to my own Shadow Ball, I think right before their Golbat was able to get there. And we're able to take that game despite that difficult Mawile lead there. Alright, Jellicent in the lead. Kind of neutral here. They are in fact running Hex, and I start a turn late, so we are out of sync. Normally I'd be able to catch a move right there because of the turn duration, but this game rarely works correctly, and so I'm not able to catch there. They even got the Bubble Beam bait on me, which is very bad. I get a shield with the Rock Slide, and they're already at another move. They're already at a Shadow Ball. This is very bad for me. I'm going to farm up a little bit more here. I'm going to bank an X Scissor and then go into my Drapion. I was really hoping that this was a Shadow Ball, but no, they Bubble Beam me, that's okay. They bring out an Escavalier. This is really rough for me now that my Drapion has been debuffed. I do know that my Drapion outpaces this Escavalier though. Drapion has the same move counts as Swampert does for the Hydro Cannons. It alternates between 5 and 4. So I'm going to let this go because I know that my Jellicent really walls off this Escavalier. And I'm just going to farm as much as I can. That Shadow Ball nuke that Jellicent has is very nice late game, as long as nothing in the back resists it. Gonna throw the Bubble Beam right there, right before that Escav gets to another Drill Run. And they end up shielding, which I thought was a huge surprise. So I will easily shield this and farm all the way down. They're most likely gonna swap. They do. It's a Fire Fang Mawile, so thank goodness I saved this Jellicent. Gonna throw a Shadow Ball. It does a lot of damage. I immediately go for the combo play with my Crustle here. But they will survive this X Scissor. And now I need to commit to hexing this all the way down. Able to do that. If their Jellicent comes in, I'm gonna go straight for the Shadow Ball. I do not want to eat any hex damage. But if they brought in the other Pokemon, I would just be able to tap it down with Hex. And down goes the Escavalier there. Good game. Crustle into another Mawile. This is like the third Mawile that I saw. And this one is running Ice Fang. So Ice Fang is hitting for neutral. It's really adding up, and my opponent's going to go straight for the power-up punch and just start ramping up. I'm going to go for the rock slide here. And this opponent does end up shielding, so I need to get out of there. I knew that I would be farmed all the way down. I felt like this is just going to be another power-up punch, so I let it go. They are really ramping up with their Mawile here. And Ice Fang Mawile is definitely an interesting choice, probably for all of the Mandibuzz that are running around. They're continuing to stay in, and it makes sense because they don't want to clear their buffs. But they let their Mawile go down. I have 2 shields. Out comes Golbat. I am barely able to get to this crunch, and they recognize that and go for an amazing catch on their Drapion. Really nice play, no debuff. Now this is kind of unfortunate for me. I'm going to bring out the Crustle here. I really need my Crustle to put in a lot of work. It has positive play against the Golbat and the Drapion. So I am attempting to farm this thing all the way down. Gonna shield this. And then I had a feeling like they were going to go for a combo play, but they end up staying in. I immediately switched because I knew that they had a Poison Fang stored. I'm able to catch the Poison Fang on my Jellicent. And now this is another point in time where there's no point in baiting. Because I just need to burn this shield, and then I know Rock Slide will take them out. If I baited Bubble Beam there and they no shield, I lose this game. But because I went for the safe route and threw the nuke, I got the shield, and then I know for sure that my Crustle is going to be able to get this Rock Slide off and take out this Shadow Golbat. That was a very, very crazy game and very well played to my opponent on those catches there. Crustle into Sableye. Fairly neutral matchup here. I definitely don't really want my Jellicent on this, so I'm happy that I'm seeing this here. Crustle is not that bulky though, so I will end up shielding this foul play. These smackdowns are really adding up. They tried to catch on their Nidoqueen. Jellicent is a very solid response to this Nidoqueen. I have a feeling that they're going to go straight for the Earth Power here, because I'm unlikely to commit both my shields, and that's what happened. Farm up a little bit more, and I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball. And they do end up shielding that. So I unfortunately, we lose the CMP tie here. And thank goodness they actually went for Earth Power, because now they have less energy to work with. So I'm going to bring out my Drapion, and I'm really hoping that Crunch is going to be enough to take this thing out. Farmed up a little bit extra there. Crunch is just enough to take out that Nidoqueen. They end up bringing in a Skuntank. And so already at this point, I'm recognizing that my Crustle has a lot of work to do against the Sableye and the Skuntank. But we'll see where I end up spending the shield. I let this go. I call the Crunch, and then they catch the X-Scissor on their Sableye. That's fine. This is still going to hit for neutral damage. If I would have went for the Rock Slide there, though, it would have just absolutely decimated that Sableye. But they're not able to get to a move anyways, able to farm it down. And now I pretty much have back-to-back X-Scissors, and we're going to be able to take out this Skuntank. And my opponent recognizes that. Good game. Crustle really putting in a lot of work. This battle's actually up against Smash King, another really talented content creator on Twitch. Has a Dragalge in the lead. So I know that my X-Scissor is going to be resisted. I tried to go for a catch on my Drapion there, but he ends up going for the Outrage, and I correctly shield it. And then he brings out his Shadow Skuntank. So Skuntank does have a slightly better matchup in this scenario, assuming that they are running Flamethrower. They're going to be able to hit for neutral damage, where both of my charge moves only hit for resisted damage. I get the defense fell there, which is nice. I know that they still have the Dragalge that has a little bit of extra energy, because they overfarmed before they threw that Outrage. Gonna bring out my Crustle here, and because of all this energy that I farmed up in the opening, I'm just gonna throw this X-Scissor and see what they want to do. That takes out the Skunk, and then probably the Dragalge comes back in. It does. Tried to catch an Aqua Tail there. But Smash King is very disciplined in his energy management here. I'm not able to catch the moves that I want to. I correctly shield up the Outrage once again though, and he's staying in here. So I'm gonna throw a Bubble Beam here and see what he wants to do. He lets it go, and in the back is a Wormadam. So I go for the alignment here, and luckily no confusion sneaks through. I go straight for the Shadow Ball. And then the game lags and causes me to overtap. And I was very furious when this happened, but by some miracle, I'm still able to survive and get this Shadow Ball off. That was like the worst time to lag. Now all I need to do is get to this Rock Slide, and I'm hoping that this will be just enough to take out the Crustle, or hopefully one Smackdown will do it, and we're able to take out that Wormadam. Good game. Really close game there. Crustle into Umbreon. Decent matchup here. I wish this was a better matchup, but Umbreon is such a tank. They swap in Quillfish. I attempted to catch a move, catch an Aqua Tail on Jellicent, but Jellicent is such a solid response to this Quillfish that I know that I'm going to leave this matchup with a lot of stored energy. I already know that they led Umbreon, so they're most likely just going to totally sack the Quillfish in hopes of getting a huge farm with their Umbreon. And so there's a case to be made that depending on how much they undercharge and overfarm, that I should swap either my Crustle or my Drapion in here and preserve this Jellicent. Because I know that these debuffs really don't matter. They're just going to end up clearing them anyways. So most likely they undercharge this and try to snarl me down. That's definitely what they do. But at this point, I'm just committed to staying in. My Jellicent is so low health at this point that it's not going to have too much value. This is a very loaded Umbreon, and in the back is their own Jellicent. So I actually ended up going straight into Drapion because I assumed that they were going to blind swap anyways. So now I still have the flexibility of kind of being able to go in and out of this matchup and potentially clear any Bubble Beam debuffs that I have. And they do go for the Bubble Beam. I throw on alignment here, trying to get the fast move denial. And it looks like it was successful. Oh, it's actually a CMP tie. Yeah, because they're going straight Bubble Beam here. I could have potentially swapped right there. But I'm just going to continue to throw these crunches. I really want to see where my opponent wants to spend their last shield. They shield that, and then they swap into their Umbreon. I'm going to bring in my Crustle to absorb this damage, and I actually end up catching a Last Resort, which is very good for me. That's resisted damage. That foul play definitely would have hurt. And at this point, I'm recognizing that one of my potential win conditions is just smack down this Umbreon all the way down and then throw a Rock Slide onto the Jellicent. And I think that's what I end up doing, shielding and then farming down and landing a Rock Slide on that Jelly. That Umbreon had so much energy, but catching the Last Resort definitely put us in a positive scenario there. And that's enough to take out the Jellicent. Good game. Drapion is so much fun to use. So definitely favorable for me. It is an Air Slash Mandibuzz, so they're hitting for neutral. They're generating energy slower than they would if they were running Snarl, and I'm hitting for super effective damage because I'm running Smackdown. Gonna shield this up, and I'm just continuing to farm up a bunch here. They tried to catch something on their Skuntank, and they do, but they end up catching a Rock Slide that does a lot of damage. Now I can safely bring in my Drapion, and I would love to set myself up to where I can potentially poison sting this thing down. They are running Flamethrower, but because it's a non-Shadow Skuntank, I'm not too worried about it. I go for the Sludge Bomb here because it hits for slightly more damage. And it's enough to take out the Skuntank. Most likely the Mandibuzz is coming back in because it can safely absorb the damage. Gonna throw straight Sludge Bombs here. And I know that they're most likely going to try to farm me all the way down. Really hoping that I can get to a Sludge Bomb, but they catch a Sludge Bomb on their Drapion. And Drapion in the back is kind of an issue for me. I have to bring in my Jellicent here. But at this point, I've recognized that my Crustle is the win condition. So I'm going to build up to Ice Beam energy to try to get a shield off of them. But if they no shield this, which they do, now I just go straight Bubble Beam as fast as I get it. But Crustle is my win condition. I have to save the shield for that because Jellicent has no play against Amandabuzz and little play against this Drapion here. So I bring in my Crustle in right away. They have a lot of energy stored on this Mandibuzz. I let that first foul play go through. I'm trying to farm this thing down. We get lag. They're not able to get to a move. And then I have 2 X-Scissors stored on this Crustle, so we will end up taking out this Drapion here. Crustle absolutely had a field day against that team, and Jellicent really did not have too many places it could go. Good game. Crustle into Wormadam. Not great because the Iron Head will pretty much one-shot me, and I can only hit back for neutral damage the whole time. So I'm going to go straight for the Rock Slide. There's really no point in baiting in this matchup. I tried to catch on my Wormadam there, or on my Drapion, but again, kind of weird lag. I do end up catching the Iron Head. And it is a Smackdown T-Tar. So this is really, really bad for me. Tyranitar definitely walls Drapion, especially when I'm not running Aqua Tail. And it's going to hit my Crustle really hard, and it has Crunch for my Jellicent. So this is definitely a core breaker for this line. I'm going to go for the Bubble Beam here and try to get rid of this thing. They shield. Ouch. These Smackdowns are really hurting. I sneak in an extra Hex. I have to shield this despite it being debuffed. They swap back in their Wormadam to preserve the Tyranitar, which is a really nice play on their part, because they know that that Smackdown damage is going to be useful. And the Bubble Beam barely does not take out this Wormadam. Really unfortunate. Able to farm it down. And what do they end up bringing in? They end up bringing in a shiny Shadow Muck. So at this point, this game is over. Very cool team, and Smackdown Tyranitar absolutely destroys this line. So well played to my opponent. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Halloween Cup meta has been pretty fun, and this team definitely did some work. Definitely weak to other Smackdown users and like Toxicroak especially. But let me know what you think of this team in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.